South Africa's current political arrangement between ANC, DA, IFP, PA, and GUT should be recognized for what it is, a coalition government formed out of electoral necessity and aimed at pleasing the wide establishment, not a government of national unity formed out of national agencies. Revolutionary greetings to all the forces, and thank you very much for tuning in. So today is the 19th of June 2024, and Cyril Ramaphosa has been officially sworn in as the president of South Africa, and he's going to be leading us in this coming 5 years going forward. Obviously, he's going to be leading us in circles again. I'm not really expecting anything different, but if there is going to be change, that will be very interesting because people of South Africa need serious change. I've been keeping quiet in regards to this government of national unity because, things are a bit different now. Cyril will be leading a government of national unity going forward. And I've been keeping quiet about this thing primarily because of the fact that I was just like everyone else. I did not understand what was going on. You just get these big terms thrown at you and then you don't really understand what is going on. I decided to keep quiet and do my own research to try and understand, what constitutes a government of national unity. And I think that is the purpose of this video, to try and elucidate this whole, concept of government of national unity and making a distinction between a government of national unity and a coalition government. I know I spoke about the possible coalition government in one of the videos that I made, and things did not go that way. Instead, they announced the government of national unity. So we're going to dissect this whole government of national unity on this episode. Now, what is a government of national unity? A government of national unity is a broad government consisting of multiple political parties. It is typically formed during times of national crisis, war, or transition, with the aim of ensuring political stability and a unified approach to governance. Most of the time, a government of national unity seeks to foster cooperation among diverse political factions to address critical issues facing the country, and it prioritizes national interests over partisan agendas and promote reconciliation. If we want to have a good comprehension of the whole concept of government of national unity, we need to pay attention to its genesis. And the origins of the government of national unity can be traced to various historical contexts, where a unified government was necessary to address issues within various countries. We'll look at some of the earliest formations of government of national unity in various countries, and the primary focus will be on the reasons behind such formations. Our first country will be Canada. Canada's formation of Union of Government in 1917 during World War I. So Borden, who was the Prime Minister of Canada, announced the formation of a union government which consisted of 12 conservatives, 9 liberals, and 1 labor representative. There were various reasons why this union government was actually formed, and one of the reasons was, as I said, it was during World War I. So one of the reasons was that there was a low recruitment levels in terms of the military. And the second was the commitment to war effort. They wanted to ensure Canada's continued and robust participation in World War I. And then the third and the most important one was the conscription implementation. So Canada wanted to pass the conscription measure through a strong unified government, But this union government actually became weak just after the war ended in 1911. It officially came to an end in 1920. After serving its purpose. So our second country will be the United Kingdom during World War II. During the World War II, the United Kingdom formed a government of national unity. This was formed, as a response to the severe threat posed by the Nazi Germany. The coalition was led by the Prime Minister, I think it's Winston Churchill, who took office in 1940. The government included members from various parties like the Conservative Party, the Labour Party, as well as the Liberal Party. The united government was crucial in that period for the mobilization of the national resources and ensuring a coordinated war effort. So the whole point was just to make sure that they had a good and proper response to the war that was caused by the Nazi Germany. The third country that we will now look at is Israel. So the concept of government of national unity has been a recurring feature in Israel politics. Typically, they form this government of national unity during periods of national crisis or significant political deadlock. Even now, as we speak, Israel is still in a government of national unity, which was formed in, I think, October 2023 as a response to the war in Gaza. In 1967 to 1969, Israel had its first national unity government. And just to highlight this, you'll notice that sometimes I say government of national unity or I say national unity government or union government. This is because different countries utilize this terminology differently. So I just go with the definition, the terminology each country prefers. In 1969 to 1970, Israel had its second and third national unity government. And again in 1984 to 1989, Israel formed a national unity government to respond to economic crisis. Israel was facing severe hyperinflation and economic instability. That included the 500% annual inflation rate, which is very crazy. Almost everything was expensive, so it's understandable why they had to form a national unity government to respond to that economic crisis. Again, in 2001, the national unity government in Israel was formed from 2001 to 2003, and it was formed as a response to significant security and political challenges in Israel. The primary driver was the need for a cohesive and effective response to the second Intifada. They call it Intifada, which included frequent suicide bombing, shootings, and other, severe attacks on Israel. And also, the other reason was the political stability. The unity government was seen as a way to stabilize the political environment and to ensure that critical decisions could be made without partisan gridlock. And also, the third reason was the broad support for policies. Having both major parties in government aimed to ensure wide support for the measures taken to address the security crisis. Israel was facing severe security issues, and they needed to unify the government in order to respond to that crisis. Again, in 2003, as I said, Israel is still in government of national unity. In 2003, I'm just going to quote, Israel Parliament approved Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's emergency unity government on Thursday, including a number of centrist opposition lawmakers to display its determination to fight the war with Hamas in Gaza. The government approved after Saturday's attack by the militant Islamist group Hamas that governs the Gaza Strip underlines the suspension of normal political rules during one of the most serious crisis in Israel's history. And as we speak now, Israel is in a unity government to ensure the win against the war in Gaza and also to ensure its security. At this point, Israel is the country that has been in a lot of governments of national unity, and for most of the time, what we're getting from this is that there was a need to unify the government, to respond to either external or internal issues within the country. So we spoke about the economical issues, and most of the time it was just war. There was a need to unify a country so that they can respond to the war and ensure the security of Israel. So now let's confabulate about South Africa's Government of National Unity, which was formed in 1994. In the 1990s, South Africa experienced a significant political and social transformation as a result of the end of apartheid and the establishment of a democratic government. During this period, to be quite honest, the Government of National Unity that was formed played a significant role in bringing people together and ensuring that there was a proper transition to democracy. Because, After ages of fighting for the right to live, the right to vote, the right to live in South Africa, the right to life, and fighting for freedom and democracy, we had to now come together as a country and live together. After we have been fighting, we know all the historical event that happened, how chaotic the apartheid was. There was a need for an establishment of a government of national unity. In 1994, the first democratic election happened. We all know that, and the ANC won with the majority for the first time, and Nelson Mandela became the president of South Africa, which led to the formation of a government of national unity. This government of national unity was formed just right after the elections, as I've said, and it included representatives from various political parties, the ANC, the Inkatha Freedom Party, as well as the National Party. This was a government which intended to promote political stability, inclusivity during this period of transition from apartheid to the democracy. And it was just mainly focused on national building, making sure that there was reconciliation. This is why there was formation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the TRC, which was chaired by the one and only Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and which aimed to address the human rights abuse under the apartheid government. We're not going to speak about the success or failures of that, but what I'm trying to emphasize is that the 1994 Government of National Unity was formed to ensure that there was a smooth transition to democracy. Recently, we all know that 5 parties have came forward to form a government of national unity led by the ANC. The ANC, IFP, Democratic Alliance, the DA, Good Party, and Patriotic Alliance of Gaten Mackenzie. Together, they have around 273 seats in the National Assembly, which is around 68%. So, what is my view on this government of national unity? All I can say is that the current political situation in South Africa does not meet the criteria for a true government of national unity, and I'm just going to briefly give my reasons, although I already explained what constitutes a government of national unity. Number one is a neck of a national crisis. Government of national unity, as I said, are formed most of the time during times of national crisis such as war or economic crisis. And currently in South Africa, we are not experiencing any crisis that necessitates a government of national unity. So without this unifying crisis, the rationale for a government of national unity is fundamentally flawed. The second one is the absence of a unified objective. A government of national unity requires a common and clear goal that all parties agree to, such as the national recovery or addressing a specific threat. In this case, there is no evident common objective uniting all these parties beyond the practical need to govern. They haven't even told us what is their common goal together and what they plan to achieve in the next 5 years. South Africa is the most unequal country. There's land issues that we have, there's inequality issues, and the poverty rate is going up the sky. This party haven't even came forward to us and say, okay, we are uniting because we want to establish a policy, or we want to agree on the land redistribution policy that will make sure that people get access to the land. They haven't even told us what is that. I'm trying to understand what is that unifying factor. What are they uniting on? I think that is very fundamental to establish before you go and create this government of national unity. And I also want to emphasize on the distinction between a coalition and a government of national unity. The ANC in 2024 failed to secure a majority in the elections, and therefore they needed a coalition partner or coalition partners in order to stay in governance. The situation in South Africa right now is a standard coalition and not a government of national unity. The distinction is very fundamental. The government of national unity implies a suspension of normal partisan politics to address a significant national challenge, which is not the case here. This is just political expediency over unity. The formation of the so-called government of national unity, to me, appears to be more about political expediency than genuine national unity. The ANC is facing a decline in support and has brought together a coalition in order to stay in power. This move is more about maintaining political control than fostering genuine unity and collaboration for the national good. And we saw that with how this whole thing went about. Even now we see people like Helen Zille having problem with Patriotic Alliance movement being part of the coalition government because they thought was just going to be a marriage between them and the ANC. It has nothing to do with the unity. For example, the DA went into this government of national unity and they don't want EFF or the MK to be part of this. So what kind of a unity is that where there's a certain group of people that can unite and others must be kept outside? I think that we need to be quite honest, and this thing of people just throwing terms and using terms in a wrong manner is very misleading. Like I said, I don't think this is a government of nations, it's a coalition. What is the unity there? Because I think it's even creating more where is the political deadlock? Because I don't think we have any. The ANC just need to get a coalition partner and then continue ruling the party going forward. Sorry. So, and I also have a problem with with this people misusing the word government of national unity, because labeling this coalition a government of national unity is misleading and diminishes the significance of what a true government of national unity represents, and actually it undermines what was done in 1994, because it creates a facade of unity and crisis resolution where there's actually none, and potentially eroding public trust in the genuine effort of national unity in the future. This 2024 government of national unity in South Africa lacks the fundamental elements of what defines a true government of national unity, such as a unifying national crisis, a clear common goal, and an extraordinary need for political unity. Instead, what it represents is a standard coalition necessitated by the ANC's failure to secure a majority in this 2024 election. Now they're wrapping it in the guise of a government of national unity for political convenience. The true government of national unity is a critical mechanism for national survival and recovery during dire times, during serious times. Misusing the term for routine political arrangement actually dilutes its meaning and importance, as well as potentially undermining its value in the future. South Africa's current political arrangement between ANC, DA, IFP, PA, and GUT should be recognized for what it is, a coalition government formed out of electoral necessity and aimed at pleasing the wide establishment, not a government of national unity formed out of national agency. Like I said, there is no unifying factor unless someone can tell me what is the unifying factor. This is just a coalition between the ANC and DA government, which is most likely going to fail or fail the people of South Africa. All I can say is that rest in peace to the freedom fighters and the sisters of this country. The ANC has failed us.